Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Denise still looking for the lid.
I found it and
She
just
found
dropped
it and
it.
just dropped it
Oh, she found
again.
it and dropped it. Hi,
Hey,
Nigel.
Nigel.
Welcome.
Well, it's small and it blends into the carpet, so it's hard to see.
Oh,
And I
that ain't
noticed that
good.
this was bleeding on everything, so I had to get it taken care of because the last thing I need is marker on everything with a bunch of kids in the house. Because
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
glad
that
you're
they're going
doing
to take the
okay,
markers and
Nigel.
write. So I don't know.
Yeah. But Nigel's
Is this what they
always
gave you?
in the first one in on our show.
He is. Like I said, kind
First one.
of feel like a well,
We're
and
doing
maybe he's
good today.
higher than my fortune cookie talked about.
Yeah.
Nigel, to give you an idea how the day's going, it was 75 degrees where I live at, and tonight it's going to be 15. Tomorrow, 36. So, yeah, I'm doing okay.
They talk about
Yep.
how weather changes so fast. You know, certain places decide that it's only them that has this massive weather change. You know, wait 15 minutes and the weather will change.
Hey,
I'm
Mom.
sorry to say this, but it's everywhere. It's not just one place. It's like here. We could have a perfectly sunny day, nothing's going on, and all of a sudden we have a thunderstorm. And then everything's clear and it's fine again.
Right.
And
We don't have a 70-degree swing.
no, we don't have a 70-degree swing. And if we do, then we got another problem. Means
This
that the Earth's
reminds
rotating.
me of about 25 years ago during deer season. I was out hunting in a t-shirt because it was almost 80 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I shoot a buck and everything. I get him gutted, loaded up, and I was going to take him to a friend of ours that does processing, but I had to go to work. So it was going to be after 5 o'clock before I could get it down there. This was at noon.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock, it was snowing and
Dang.
freezing rain. So this kind of reminds me of that day with it being nice and warm out
Yeah.
there, beautiful. The wind picked up and the temperature, it's already dropped down 15 degrees already. And it's
Was
going to
that in
keep dropping
January?
down. And we got a chance of snow tonight.
Yeah, was that in January that happened?
No, that was in November.
Yeah, that was November.
So one year we were going down to Arkansas. Ron went down ahead of me, and I had the dogs and the kids in the van because his uncle had passed away.
That was in February.
Oh, it was in February?
Yeah.
So I leave Kansas City, and it's 75 degrees. It's nice out. It's not bad. Driving along. By the time I get to Nevada, it's flurrying. By the time I get to Bella Vista, Arkansas, or is it Buena Vista, Arkansas? I'm behind a snow plow because there's 18 inches of snow on the ground. And I have how many greyhounds? I only had one greyhound with us, but I had, probably, did I have 3 kids or 4 kids by then? But it was not good,
Oh, I know.
I wasn't counting on that when I left.
92 or 93, I was in Kansas City and just to deliver the load. And they wanted me to take another load out. And I said, no, I haven't been back to see the kids for a couple of weeks. So I said, I'm going to skip this load. That night, it snowed because I was going to have to head east with the load to Cincinnati, right? That night, it snowed in Columbia, Missouri, 18 inches of snow. And when I delivered that day, it was 65 or 70 degrees out.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
old.
Yeah, this cat here is our Benjamin Button's cat. She's getting younger every time. She was very close to death about 7 years ago. She wouldn't eat cat food. All she would eat would be canned chicken. That was it. She'd throw up all the time. Her fur was molty and everything. She's now almost 16, and she looks better than she did when she was 5.
Oh my.
Yeah, like I said, she's my
Now
bench.
that's our paranormal cat that usually shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she usually shows up on our show.
But
yeah, Coco every now and then.
But if you look at her face, you'll see
There's no gray.
No, you just see the bitchiness in her. And my sister Donna has a cat that looks just like her.
Same look.
Same look, bitchy. And she beats up on the cat that is old and dying, that's 16. And I swear, this cat's going to be 23 years old, and I'm going to be sitting there going, why didn't I put her to sleep years ago?
Yeah.
But again, I tell people this all the time. I love my cats. I love them all. I wouldn't just put them to sleep because I didn't want them anymore. But this one's not going to die. She's not going anywhere. But, when the doctors ask us, every time we go to the doctor, are you safe at home? It's like, no, I got cats. What in the hell are you thinking? They're trying to kill me every time I get out of bed. They're trying to kill him in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
They sneak up behind him when he's going to the restroom. So they're trying to kill him. So, hey, Christopher, I hope Shelby gets that job.
Yep.
Oh, there's Rob.
There's Gary.
There's Rob.
So,
Drop 22.
So tonight we have a wonderful guest.
There he is.
We got Rob Booth from Panhandle Paranormal, and not Panhandle like this, but the Panhandle of Florida. And we're going to talk to him about the jail that they got to go to. We were invited and couldn't go because, well, me. I got a health issue that I got to deal with. So, but Rob understands that. So he understands what's going on.
Right.
So, he offered to come on tonight since our other guest canceled. So, welcome Rob Booth to the show.
Well,
hey,
thank
Rob.
you. Hope everybody's okay. I've got a cold like everybody else down here.
Oh my.
You know how it is, the grandkids bring it home and
Yeah.
pass it around. So
Yep,
Kids
they're
do
germ
a lot
buckets.
of stuff.
Yep. So we went last week to the Hamilton County Jail in Jasper, Florida. And I'd never heard of Jasper. It's an out of the way town. It's where Interstate 75 meets Georgia. And this jail, it's a little town with probably 25,000 people. And the jail has been set vacant for, gosh, I don't know, since the 40s probably. And it's built in the 1800s. And it was awesome. The sheriff and the family lived in the jail, and all the antique furniture, the antique stoves, everything was just like it was when they got up and walked out. And it was funny. The cells looked like something from IKEA, where they came in flat packed and then they riveted it all together. And the ladies' cells were downstairs, and we didn't get hardly any action downstairs at all. And when we went upstairs, that got wild. I'd never seen it to where we had all this equipment on a big table. I guess it was in one of the cells. They had a big table where they could sit around, play cards or something. And we had all this equipment on the table, and we had the little cat balls all over the place. And they lit up every piece of equipment at once. It looked like Christmas. All the lights flashed. Wow. And it was really wild. So, and part of the best part of the trip was we got a hold of the jail log dating back to the late 1800s.
Wow.
And, I guess the judge would come to the jail and hold court at the jail. And some of the stuff was just hilarious. One fella got arrested, I guess, a dozen times for driving his wagon through the town recklessly and cursing at the people on the sides. And they would always give him 3 days of hard labor and $1.25 fine. And then they had one entry of a woman, and it said she was arrested for ill repute and cursing and resisting arrest. And she must have really, really upset somebody, because they gave her $25 fine.
Wow.
And like 25 days in hard labor.
Ooh.
And then the next paragraph was so cute. It's, after 3 days, it is determined that her labor isn't worth the cost of the food that's being fed to her. And they fined her $1.25 and threw her out.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
It was cute. And
So she was lazy and she ate a lot.
Yeah.
Man,
it was a trip.
that's pretty bad.
And we went over to a nearby town called White Springs, about 15 minutes away. And the whole town is period. All the old houses, everything looks like it was just built in the 1800s and not touched. There's a hardware store that was just fantastic, still in function since the 1800s. You know, all the trucks, and they split firewood with a steam engine, and all of it was still there. And we got invited to come back and ghost hunt that hardware store, because upstairs they sold coffins.
Oh.
And they said, "Oh yeah, there's a couple fellas upstairs hanging out all the time." And there's a hotel there we looked at, the Telford Inn, and it was 1902. Beautiful hotel. When we looked through the windows, all the antiques were still there from the turn of the century, and the hotel's for sale for $200,000.
Oh wow!
I was gonna say, is it still open?
It's for sale, and
Oh wow,
That was like
nobody-
when we went by.
200.
$200,000.
How big is it?
It's probably 25, 30 rooms. It had a lounge, a pool. It had a kitchen.
How far off of Highway 10 is that town?
Yeah.
It's probably 25, 30 miles north of 10.
Okay,
But it's off 75.
It's off 75. And
go up 75. Wow,
the town was just, I mean, the hotel
I'd
was just
check that out.
gorgeous. One of the girls that was with us, Tina, she knew somebody that owns the Harriman Hospital or something, and he buys up haunted properties and fixes them up, puts somebody in there as a caretaker, and lets them do tours. And she's trying to get him to buy that hotel, which would be fantastic.
Another guy that does that kind of stuff is Robin Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too far.
It is too far for him.
He's-
Everything he
yeah.
does is Illinois.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even Ashmore's quite a ways from him.
Yeah.
Well,
What
there's
was his name?
people there in town they could get to
White River.
manage that. The
What was
lady,
the name of the hotel or the town?
White River.
the town is White Springs.
White
White
Springs.
Springs. That's close.
I was gonna say that in White River.
Yeah. It was interesting. The jail we went to, the lady that's been in charge of taking care of the jail and the historical end of that town is her great grandfather founded the town.
It's an easy way to get installed in town to do
Right.
historical stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and her husband was the mayor, so that helps.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Who knew political connections could help?
How big is White Springs?
It's not very big. It's not big at all. I'd say. In fact, I saw more people at the at the hardware store than we did anywhere else. But we didn't drive too much around there. There's a state park there too. What was it? Who was that wrote the Swanee River song? Stephen Foster State Park.
Oh,
And
race name there.
Yeah, I know.
the Swanee goes through there. So we're gonna go back and camp at the state park and really get to know that area some, because it was just incredible.
740 people lived in that town in 2020.
How
Now that
many?
was small.
740.
Yeah,
It's about the size of Gallatin, if not smaller.
yeah.
It's smaller. Gallatin's got 1,800.
See? Lewisburg had
About
about
half our
5.
size. Yeah.
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 So, yeah, you said 25,000. I was like, that's how many people are supposedly.
That's pretty
That's
big.
in Jasper.
I wonder what the history is like down around that area.
I have no idea. That's why I want to go back
Right.
and stay there. And
Yeah.
Ought to be some good history. It's that close to Georgia, right out of
Yeah.
Florida.
the lady that run the jail, she really sweet. She's coming down here in July for a 2-week vacation, so I'll be picking her brain.
Oh, well,
Good.
at least leave some stuff in there for her.
Yeah, but it's interesting. We first got there, she was raising hell on the phone. Apparently she had done enough ghost hunts and stuff and Halloween stuff to save $25,000 to get a roof put on the building.
Oh,
And
wow.
the city used the money.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's
So
bull crap.
she was yelling at her husband about, you will put a roof on my jail.
Wow.
Guarantee she gets it.
I bet she
Yeah.
does too. But one thing interesting about the jail is they had a gallows built onto the side of the jail where they would just take them out of the cell, walk out across this little bridge and hang them right there.
Oh, that'd be neat to see.
Yeah. Across the street is a mill, and they didn't know anything about it. It's been there that long, and it had a bunch of junk stored in it. But that was interesting just to see what all was in that building. But it was so rotten getting up the stairs and everything to get up into it that we didn't venture very far into it, and I didn't fancy falling through the floor.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. There are a lot of abandoned mills in the state.
This one wasn't it wasn't a water mill,
Right.
so I don't know what it was for. I guess like a cotton gin or to make fabric or something.
Yeah. My dad used to work for Dan River Mills. You know, those are the ones. I mean, it was on the water, and they made sheets and stuff and towels back in the day. And then he worked for another mill in New Jersey making fabric, you know, for people to buy bolts of fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was on the Passaic River. There weren't that many mills that were not water powered.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just unusual. I mean, well, you know, here in Milton, they list like 8 or 10 different mills in just this area alone that used to exist. Oh, which reminds me, the Imogene Theater got purchased. Did you know that?
Ooh,
His phone
Apparently,
fell.
it was news to him.
that was shocking.
Oh, now I can't even pick up the phone.
Oh,
Hi,
Just save
Michael.
that for last.
I heard a church bought it.
yeah, they
Church,
did.
yeah.
And they took out the entire historical society. All the stuff is out of there.
Oh, what a waste.
So
Oh,
We
really?
Get in there. We've tried and tried, but we call and so and so runs it and he's not
Yeah.
available right now and this and that.
got the runaround.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, but
they didn't
yeah, our
want.
son-in-law told us that it had been purchased because that's where he parks when he works, is in that parking lot.
Mhm.
Night, Nigel.
So, yeah, it was kind of sad that we never even got to get in there. And it's like, even to the, I don't even know where they moved the historical society to.
No idea. I even tried to get in the train depot there, and I couldn't find anybody that was responsible for it.
No,
It looks pretty empty there.
it's only supposed, the kids have
Yeah.
been there a couple times to take the kids, to take
Mhm.
the grandkids. And they're only open for like 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Certain days.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. We drive by it every now and then when we come the long way home.
So, what are the claims at this hotel in White Springs that's for sale?
Do you even
We
know?
don't know. We just heard that it's very haunted, is all we were told.
Oh, okay.
But you know how it is. Anytime you get an old building that's that old, you're going to find a ghost.
Especially
And
a
especially
hotel.
if it's a hotel.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. I said, if you've got an old house that was built 60s or older, I can go in there and find a ghost. There's going to be one in there.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to go to the jail. I wanted to check that out. Bad.
Well, we'll be going again. We've got a planning meeting on Saturday to see what all they want to do this year. They want to go back to Myrtle's plantation.
Oh,
Haven't been there. It's
It's Myrtle's is wild.
Yeah.
But they're booking 8-10 months out.
oh yeah.
oh yeah, we're used to places that book a year in advance
Yep.
at least.
Yeah.
That's the way they are, and
the murder house and
it's expensive there.
at
But
the
there's-
Myrtles.
Yeah. When we went the first time, we rented a house that's beside it, and I think they called it the keeper's quarters, and it had 2 bedrooms, and the girls slept 2 to a bed, and I slept on the sofa, and light bulb came on middle of the night. I sat up, I looked around, and one of the girls is in a chair with a blanket, and I said, "What are you doing up?" She says, "They won't leave the covers on the bed." I said, "Did you turn the lamp on?" She said, "No." So she turns the lamp off, and I lay back down, go to sleep. A few minutes later, the lamp comes back on, and I said, "Would you leave that lamp alone?" So she unplugs it. A few minutes later, the lamp come on again.
Oh crap.
She shows me the plug.
Yeah.
So I unscrewed the bulb and went and put it in the refrigerator. I said,
Yeah.
if you can get the damn thing out of the refrigerator, screw it back in the lamp,
Yep.
then I'll lay here in the light and go to sleep.
So did you go there before or after the gift shop burnt down?
Before,
Okay. So you haven't been back since it burned down?
no.
I think that happened like 3 years ago. Maybe
And see,
4.
we couldn't get into the house because you had to have booked one of the rooms in the house to get into the house at night.
Yeah.
So all I did was put on a team shirt, sat on the porch with an SLS camera, waiting on somebody to come by.
Yeah.
And somebody stopped. "That's one of them cameras you can see ghosts." "Yep." "Come up to my room." That's
Yep.
all
I
it
know.
took.
Yep.
We all
That's
go
what
charging
happened with
them.
us at some places that we've been, like the Belvoir Winery.
Well, I'd say most of the people going there are for the ghost anyway. So
Yeah, we went to the Belvoir Winery for one of our anniversaries, and we had brought some stuff with us, because we weren't planning on getting into anything. We just knew that we had run of the building at night. So we would just, we went outside, had some wine, some other stuff, and some people came by who was staying there because they do weddings there, especially in May. Our anniversary's in May.
Right.
And so there was all these people.
May what?
You know when it is.
I can tell you what day it is.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
But so we have this equipment.
Thank God I have a backup.
And they invited us to come to walk around with them. Not that we were wanting to, but we were out there talking, and here all of a sudden we're on a paranormal investigation until 3 o'clock in the morning with people who had to get up the next day for a wedding.
Yeah.
Breakfast was like at 7 or something for their wedding party.
A neat place to go to locally here in Defuniak is the Hotel Defuniak.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember.
We went there a couple years ago, and he rented us the hotel, and it was pretty good. He's a Cajun cook, so the food was outstanding. And then when everything settled down, we went ghost hunting, and then he comes out and tells us, "Y'all all come in here for a drink," and he just opened the bar. So then we had a whole bunch of drunk ghost hunters.
Yeah, drunk investigators.
That's what you call your spirit and spirits tour. It works out.
Right.
But yeah,
that way you get spirits one way or the other.
But that place, it was pretty good. We had a team member. She lost a necklace, and it was a very expensive diamond necklace. And we tore the room apart. Could not find that necklace anywhere. So she was just hysterical. We went down, had some beignets, had a cup of coffee, come back upstairs. It's laying right on the dresser.
Yep.
We have a similar story at a place where Katie Stafford and his wife, they run the historical society in this building. And it was just me and Ron. We had the whole place to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 bedrooms, but we had, like I said, the place to ourselves. I had taken my glasses off and I had stuck them on. There's a little ice cream set in the room, a table and 2 chairs. And I sat it on the table, and I knew I did. And I brought my computer bag. I had all this stuff with us for investigating. And I'm packing everything up to leave. And I go nuts looking for my glasses. Glasses aren't cheap.
Tore your bag up.
Tore my bag up.
Might have thrown it in there.
Did everything. We got everything downstairs. Still couldn't find it. I just started looking everywhere. I look under the bed.
She thought it might have fell and might have got, around the edge of the bed or something.
But then when I looked under the bed, it's like, how could it have gotten under there? Because, they had this extra spring under the bed. Mm-hmm. It was an old metal bed that they just put the spring down underneath there so that they could use it as a third bed in another room. And in the middle, so you got all these springs that are
right in the middle,
shaped like rectangles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was in the middle under the bed.
Yep.
Where there's no way you could have kicked it under. Somebody had to pick it up and put it there. My glasses were not scratched or scraped, and they were laying with the glass up on top. So
I thought they were gone. We were
Yeah.
already trying to figure out how to replace them and everything.
So
I mean, we looked everywhere. It wasn't that big a room.
Yeah.
There wasn't many places it could be.
I looked in the living room, the kitchen, every place
I
we had
even
access
went through
to.
a computer bag a couple of times. I said, it's got to be in there somewhere. There's no other place it could be. There wasn't that many.
Yeah. And so, needless to say, if anybody's in Springfield or Smithville, Missouri, that's a good place to go. The Patterson house there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really weird. It was a location that was related to Quantrill's Raiders and Frank James of Jesse James Brothers fame.
Yeah.
All these people had actually hung out there when it was just a regular house before it became an Airbnb, a B&B or a
That's it.
historical
That's where they
society.
stayed.
Yeah, because Frank James was part of Quantrill's Raiders.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's a really neat history of that location. So, but so
Yeah, we
did
have
you
all
have?
that history up around here too, with Frank
Yeah.
and Jesse and everything.
Well, it's funny at work. I deal with a telephone company that's trying to get permits done in Missouri, and one of the things that they keep talking about is Kearney, and they keep saying it wrong. They just keep saying it wrong. Kearney. No, it's not Kearney. Kearney. They say it wrong. They keep saying Nevada. And it's like, no, it's Nevada.
Nevada.
And they're looking at me, when they have, we're doing these video calls, they look at me like, are you serious? They can't say Dothan. Okay, Rob. They're calling it Dothan.
Really?
Yeah, Dothan.
Who is?
This New York lady that I
Oh,
with.
yeah.
And I just sit there and laugh about every name that they can't say. And it's like, I may not be from here, but I know it's Dothan. So you've been around a million people, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It just makes you laugh when you hear it said wrong, but they
My
can't
daughter
seem to get it.
moved to Mariana, and
Yeah.
there's a team out of Panama City does tours at the ghost hunt at the Mariana Caverns.
Oh, that's right. You went to the caverns, didn't you?
Yeah, so I need to take the team there. And they did a hunt last weekend at the Bellamy Bridge, and I need to take the team there and see what all I can get into up there with some of the those manor houses, those plantation homes and stuff, because she knows all these people. She's the town. What does she do? The purchasing agent for the county.
Oh, the clerk.
Ah.
And so they have these little functions once a month where all the department heads get together and go do something together. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's good.
It's funny. The guy I had on last week, was it last week that I had him on? Christopher Balzano. Had Christopher Balzano on. He was actually in Mariana when I messaged him to ask him to be on the show.
Yeah.
And he goes, how did you know where I was? I said, because that's where I was. I was at a library, not at the same one. I was at the one here in Milton.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at books and I saw a name and I know this guy. So I sent him a message, and I just happened to be in the library at the same time he was. And he was in Mariana, whatever that was. It had to have been last Tuesday that we had Christopher Balzano on. And so he was there last weekend for an event that they had at the library.
Yeah, it's a pretty little town.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about it. I'm doing some research trying to find all the hot spots. Now that bridge you're saying, that's one of them. Of course, you can get to that pretty easy. Actually, their Chamber of Commerce is the I forgot what the name of the house was.
Russ.
Yes.
But yeah, Russ House. That's where the chamber is right now.
I've been there.
Yep.
It's impressive. The tourist information's in there. So we went in there with my daughter and they hooked me up. Here's hat, here's sunglasses, here's all this.
We're trying to find the other hot spots. It sounds like a weekend getaway to go check out.
There's a hotel over in Mobile I want to go check on. And they say it's pretty wild. It's got the tunnels for the what do they call that? The railroad?
Yeah.
Underground railroad.
Underground railroad.
Right.
and they let you go down to the tunnel.
Right.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Real interesting.
We went to one like that, but it was in Illinois, over in Alton.
There's a restaurant over in Foley called the Gift Horse, and the building itself has been a dozen different things. A skating ring, a Masonic lodge, all this, and it's all tongue and groove. It's got a rounded roof, stained glass windows and all. And she's invited us to come ghost hunt her building. But just getting my team rounded up to go do something is
It's something else, right?
How many you have on your team now?
I had 8, and I'm losing one of my best ones. But I got people that claim, they claim for the team, but they live out of town. And so that just makes it hard.
Right.
We got one girl lives in Hattiesburg. She comes to some of the big stuff, but I'm picking up 3 or 4 new people and introducing them at the meeting Saturday.
Good.
And we'll see how that plays out.
Now, your meeting Saturday, you guys are planning what you're going to do for the 2024 year, right?
Yeah, at least get through the summer. It's like Fort Blakely. It was the last battle of the Civil War, and it's so freaking haunted over there. And they got these. We take the motorhome over there and stay, but they've got cabins that sleep 8 people for $135 a night.
Wow.
I told the girl, there's no reason why you can't book it. Oh,
Right.
book it back. I said, I'm not booking it. I ain't staying in it. Y'all are going to have to step up a little more rather than me doing everything.
Yep. That's right.
I still want to do.
Can't.
I still want to book Fort Morgan at night.
That's fun to get involved with, get into, I hear.
Yeah. We can go over to Fort McRae at night.
Can you?
Yeah.
I
just
didn't
have
know that you could.
Yeah, and ferry everybody over a few at a time.
That's where one guy talked about it. They did.
It was Rob.
There was somebody else that did that too.
Oh, that tall guy
Yeah.
that was talking to Kat at the.
Yeah, he got. The boat couldn't quite get. They had to jump off just a little bit before they had to swim in a little bit.
Wasn't that you?
No, we go.
No,
beat the boat right in front.
Yeah, it was at the Paracon.
Okay, so
yeah,
it was that guy.
Yeah, I was telling about that. I was like, oh.
You have to take a boat?
Guy.
Yeah.
You have to take a boat
Crayon
to
guy.
this place?
Yeah, it's on the end of a peninsula, and you can get there by walking 7 miles.
Yeah, that's what he said. You could walk to it, but they took a boat to it.
And it's and there's a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, this time of year.
Yeah, I was in a low tide or something. I don't know. It had some reason where they
must have had a real big boat.
They had to swim in.
Isn't that the one that's right across from Fort Pickens?
Yes.
Okay. You can see some battlements, but that's about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot left of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What it is the wind is predominantly southeast, and it's elongated Fort Pickens, but it took away from that key, that end of the fort over at Fort McRae.
Not to mention the fact that everything gets sandblasted out there.
Oh yeah.
So, because I know,
isn't that Fort McRae? There's hardly anything left.
Yeah. There's some base platforms, and there's gun turrets, and there's one building left.
And then Fort Barrancas it is gone.
No, Fort Barrancas and San Carlos there's 2 forts stacked on each other.
Okay.
And Now, we had an interesting, several years ago, I had a tour at the lighthouse, and it was officers' wives, Blue Angel pilots' wives. So I said, who lives in the big 3-story buildings? And they all raised their hands. Well, those buildings were built early 1800. And so these people live in these buildings that are 5,000 square foot in the house. I said, I'd love to ghost hunt those. Okay. So we set it up for 2 Friday nights, and we were going to do like 4 houses each night. And we met the base commander there, and we ended up the second night going to his house, and he is right across from First Pensacola, the first settlement in America. And that was wild. We sat around his dining room table and talked to a kid that was 15 years old and spoke French, which luckily the commander spoke French. And he carried on a conversation with a 15-year-old kid that came in on that ship. And he asked him if there were any other boys with him. And he says, yeah, there's a Spanish kid that hangs out with me from when the Spanish owned Pensacola.
Do you know anything about, there's this coffee shop in Pensacola. It's
Downtown?
Yep. It's near
Yeah.
DeVillers Boulevard or Road or whatever.
Yeah.
And basically it's not really, it's coffee, but they call it the Cava coffee shop.
Yeah.
He said it used to be a barber shop before it was a coffee shop.
Yeah, I know
went
that.
in there after the Christmas parade, because we saw you there. You didn't see, you couldn't see us, but but we were there, and we
You were
walked
there with
all the way back to the car.
100,000 other people.
Yeah.
We went back.
I said hi.
Yeah.
Didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I got really offended. We were by was it Five Sisters, the restaurant? Yeah. That's where we parked, was by there.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't know we're not allowed to. We just found that out during the Mardi Gras parade. No, we're not allowed to park there. But we had gone in there for me to go to the bathroom when we got back from the Christmas parade. And I walk in there and I ask if it's okay if I use their restroom, because, the next best place is a bar, about a half a block down. And they go, yeah. And so I go in, and while I'm sitting there doing my business, somebody else decides to do their business by walking through my bathroom with me. And it was a guy, and he was dressed in really frilly clothes, military uniform.
Yeah.
And so I come out of the restroom, and, I was a little frazzled, not because I saw a ghost, but because it was a man ghost.
You weren't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And I know I probably should always expect it. And so I come walking out, and the guy looks at me and goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "Just had a guy in the restroom with me." He goes, "There's nobody here but us and you." And I said, "Well,
they didn't know about it."
Actually, once I said, I said he had on a military uniform, but lots of, frills. I felt like saying he looked like a gay pirate, but I didn't think that would go over well.
It's coffee shop.
So
It's called Cava.
Cava.
Yeah.
And I'm walking out the door, and the guy goes, "I think I know who she saw." And the other guy goes, "Me too." And they asked me to describe him a little bit more, and I did. And they go, "We think that's Captain DeVillers or Colonel DeVillers, something like that." And I said, who is that? I said, "I'm not from around here. I don't know." At that time, I didn't know anything about all the history related to that name. And I didn't even know what street we were parked on. Okay.
No.
I just knew where we parked when we walked, and we walked back. And they started asking me more questions and invited us back.
Well, I think we need to take some equipment and go down there and have coffee.
Yeah,
At some point, yeah.
have to learn to like coffee.
Well,
Over,
chocolate
well,
is a little.
we have our little get-togethers every now and then at a place called Lucy's at Seville Square, and it's haunted.
Well, Seville Square is really old, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we sat there
Yeah.
one night, sat in the gazebo at Seville Square with the SLS camera and just watched them walk back and forth.
Well, next time you guys go, let us know. Maybe we'll have a chance and we can come down. I mean, it's not that far.
We'll do that.
So, because we are looking forward to trying to do some stuff with you, but you knew what was going on with me at that time. And nothing's changed. It's all still happening. I'm just not sharing publicly. So
one of my photographers, they had a little shop up there on Martin Luther King and Belmont Street. And it was turn of the century. And it was very haunted. And it was funny because we were doing a photo shoot. And I looked up at the photographer and I said, "Do you know this place is haunted?" And she goes, "No." I said, "Well, there's one keeps looking over the rail at the top of the stairs." I said, "And there's one laid back on the stairs. He's sitting on the fourth step and he's got his elbows back on the stairs, just laying back watching us." I said, "He's a teenager." And she goes, "No." I said, "Yes." So we brought the team in and did an EVP session. And there's a whole family of Irish people there.
I think you told us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Willie. And I said,
that was
"What's
the one
Willie
that you
doing
told us
there?"
about.
Willie stepped out in front of a car.
Oh, wow.
How long ago was that Willie supposedly stepped out in front of a car?
I have no idea.
That's down where you see.
Yeah, so in the area where we were at for the parade, so right before Palafox, so
2-3 blocks, maybe.
So we were where we were at. We were just before Palafox on Garden.
Yeah.
And every time we drove through there in the evening, coming back and forth from Gulf Shores, we were going to Pace every morning and going back to Gulf Shores at night during that time. And when we would come back, I would see this male spirit who looked like he had been hit by a car. And I saw him every single time that we were coming back, but I never saw him when we were going to, because when we were going to, it was daytime.
Mm-hmm.
But at night, he was out there. So I don't know. He
probably got hit at night.
Yeah, he was dressed like anytime between the 70s or late 80s or early 80s and now, because, clothes haven't changed that much. I mean, he wasn't wearing parachute pants or anything like that, but what he was wearing could have been worn last week or in the 80s, because I mean, pretty much what I have on would have been worn in the 80s or now.
Well, I got a buddy owns an old gas station over on Cervantes Street, and it's kind of a clubhouse for his car club, and it's ratty on the outside, and the inside is really cool because it's all done up. But and they still work on cars, old cars and stuff in there. And we found a young man in there and asked him what he was doing there, and I was sitting there watching him work on a car, drinking a beer, and the guy walked by, and he just looked rough. And I said, "So, how did you end up here?" And he goes, "I got run over by a car."
Well, I think we saw that
place to have it, though.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Yeah, we were on Cervantes Street when we saw it. So there's so many beautiful homes, buildings, offices, whatever they have become in that area that are just so beautiful. And then there's some that are not.
Yeah.
Has anyone on your team on any of your investigations, has anyone been scratched?
We've had some scratches before.
Okay. They want been pushed.
Oh yes.
Okay.
He just wants to make sure I'm not the.
No, I'm just
No.
curious if this is normal, if you're having a lot of it, or
I got pushed up at Gettysburg. We hadn't been on the battlefield 5 minutes, and I walked over and stood in a little depression, knocked me right out of that depression. I thought, well, shit, I'm not the only one. Pardon me. I'm not the only one here.
You're lucky you didn't see the mountain lion. You might have been running. Ron, that's the first thing Ron saw when we went out to Gettysburg was a mountain lion.
The girls did get one really neat picture, and that was in the wheat field at night. And, they used to, that's where the majority of them died, was in that wheat field, because they kept just sending Yankees onto the field. Okay, y'all just march out there in a straight line, and the Confederates are hiding in the hill there behind all the rocks, just shooting. And they paid these people 3 cents a body to go out and get them and bury them in a trench in the road. And they caught a picture, and on the picture, it looks like somebody pushing a cart with a lantern on the cart. I thought he's still got going out there getting bodies.
My first trip to Gettysburg was in 1977.
yeah, we'll have to go there again.
And
Oh,
as a
God,
12-year-old
77.
girl, I was told not to tell anybody what I was seeing.
I was just a couple years old then.
Well, are you really old, younger than me?
No.
That's okay. I told everybody last night I was 29.
I joined the service in 77.
Oh, okay. So.
No, he's got to be close to my age. I joined in 79.
Yeah.
Was apparently a good vintage for military people.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed till 97.
You stayed a lot longer than these two.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I just know that I've been there quite a few times. Well, not quite a few. I have to say two times. But it's a neat place to go. We're wanting to go up in July for the
bash,
battlefield bash. But
I tell you where to stay though is at Battlefield Bed and Breakfast.
It's booked.
Especially for that.
Where we stayed,
you got way ahead of time.
Yeah, we stayed when we went at the Budget Host Inn. It was right across the street from the cemetery.
Yeah,
and it wasn't for the battlefield bash. We just went up there, and we were in walking distance of everything we wanted to walk to, and then some. And then we had Kat Gash, one of my friends. She came up from Frederick, Maryland, to see us, and I did my show from the motel, and while I was there, the spirit kept messing with Kat, and I knew it. And she asked me, she goes, "Did you know your room is haunted?" And I said, "Yeah, I know." But because, you're right across the street from the cemetery, and more than likely this, whatever was there before was probably field, and probably 4 or 5, if not 500 people could have died in that spot where we were at.
Oh yeah.
So it was a really nice, for the price, it was nice, but you didn't get a lot. You got a bed to sleep in and a place to take a shower and whatever else you needed to do in the morning, and then you were gone. Long. Yeah, we weren't. We were everywhere else but there.
One thing I really enjoyed there was after breakfast, they have a guest speaker each day in uniform. And I walked into breakfast one morning, and there's a freaking general standing there with a rifle over his shoulder. And his talk was just amazing. And then he carried everybody out there to fire muskets.
Oh, that was neat.
But
That'd be nice.
we stayed in the barn, and you would go upstairs to the regular level of the barn, and we had the closed circuit cameras all set up and all up there, and we were talking to this. There were 7 spirits up there, and they used it as a hospital. And the only one that would come forward, he said, he's from Birmingham, Alabama, and he said, I'm here with 6 Yankees, and he says, I don't like them, and they don't like me. He says, will you take me home when you go?
Did you?
No, I said, we can't do that. I said, it's really packed in the car.
They say, what's a car?
Yeah.
My favorite part of being there was having friendlies down the street.
Yeah.
That was my first job, was
Mhm.
working at Friendlies in Maryland. So for me, it was like, I'm excited, and they have half price breakfast every day during the week. So
Yeah.
I was happy, and I got ice cream, and because my first job was scooping ice cream for Friendlies,
Mhm.
and it was one of my favorite jobs, other than the short dress that they made me wear. That I didn't like. You remember it? It was too short.
So the guys working there, did they have to wear that dress too?
No, they had these ugly shirts that looked like tablecloths, blue and white.
Well, nowadays they'd make them wear the dress.
Quite possibly, and
They
maybe
probably
It
do it
could
on their own.
possibly be.
maybe even the frilly apron to go with it that I
Yeah.
used to have to wear. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite jobs ever, was scooping ice cream. So when you're 18, it's fun. When you're 29, it's not. So, so what plans do you have this year? I mean, I know you said you guys are having your planning meeting coming up here soon. So
Well,
have you guys made any plans yet for this year?
no, I've got a list of places I'm going to propose to them, and we'll go from there.
Make sure you propose costs.
I'm losing my main right hand person. She's moving to Georgia. We do a lot of house cleansing,
Mhm.
and a lot of that is find out why they're there.
Right.
And she goes with me, and she is super. Amanda's her name. And the last one we went to, I had very high EMF readings in the house. And so I took the husband out, and it was a trailer, and I took him out, and we looked at the breaker box on a big board out in the yard. And it has very thin ground wire going down to the rod. And I told him, you got to go get a bigger gauge wire and wire that in and put another ground rod down and call me if you have any more problems. And I hadn't heard a word. So that probably fixed a lot of his problems.
Yeah, they don't realize if your house is a big EM pump,
Yeah.
you're feeling it. And it may not be a spirit, but you may be feeling that electrical energy going through you.
I found one spirit in the house, and it was a neighbor that had died a few months before, and they had taken care of this old man for years. I said, do you really want me to throw him out? No, we don't. Okay. But at least you know who it is, and get that grounding rod put down and go from there.
I'm just glad you go the route of, hey, it may not be 100% haunted. It might be something else, or it is haunted, but it's being caused by the fact that your house is a 12,000 or 1,200 square foot EM pump.
We did one in front of Joe Patty's Seafood down there, little shotgun house.
Yeah.
And
A bunch of
when I
those.
walked into the corner of the bedroom, because it's just a little tiny 600 square foot house at the most. When I walked in the corner of the bedroom, oh, the woe I felt, just, oh God. So I asked Sabrina to go in the corner. So she almost cried. So we're standing outside, and the guy's wife says, well, my dad's ashes are under the corner of the bed right there. I said, let's get this figured out. Y'all are newlyweds. So you put your dad underneath the mattress, and then you proceed to do that newlywed thing. I said, don't you think he'd be a little pissed? Oh my God. I said,
Yeah, they didn't think that far ahead, did they?
The
Yeah,
new
they
one.
did.
out from under the damn bed.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
You with the
Dad
retirement
could,
thing.
yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah, get him out from under the bed.
Well,
Take
as
him
you
out
can
of the
see,
room.
How many investigations a year do you and your team do?
Counting these house cleansing, God, I do one of them every 2 or 3 weeks.
All right.
You know, people will call and they're
Right.
kind of freaking out. So we pretty well, okay, I'll be over tomorrow. Or we
do
did
they ever
one.
greet you? Do they ever greet you with where's the cameras and stuff?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
we had that happen a few times.
I've had that happen.
I had a lady call me in tears one afternoon, and she says, we just bought this house. We haven't been in it 3 days. We haven't slept. It's just awful. It's just terrorizing kids, us, slamming doors, all of this stuff. I said, where do you live? She told me. I said, that's about 10 minutes. Let me come over there. So I called Amanda, get your butt over here. Let's run over here. So we go over to the house, and yes, we find the ghost. We sit down on the sofa with the ghost to find out what his story is. He didn't know he was dead. These people were in his house. And so I just explained to him, I said, you know, you died about a month ago, and your wife sold this house, and she's moved in with her sister. I said, so you need to go find where she's at. And this family bought it. They got 5 kids, and they can't handle what you're doing. And I said, you just can't stay here anymore. You need to go find your family. And they had a closed circuit cameras throughout the whole house. And so I sent them all next door, and they were watching it on phones and a computer over there. And we went through the house, and we saged the house and blessed it. And my phone rang. So I picked it up, and it's that girl. And she goes, he's gone. I said, what do you mean? She goes, on the camera, the back door opened. He said, bye. And the back door closed.
That sounds familiar too, doesn't it?
Yep.
I said, that's cool.
Yeah.
So never had one say goodbye.
You know, that's funny. We had one that said to me, it was right after the
Cleansing.
eclipse back in August of 2017. The team went in there, not us. There was a team that had rented the Sally House to do a film, and I was asked to be their liaison. And so we were there for part of it, but we weren't there for their investigation piece. You know, we were there for
The cleansing.
yeah,
That night they did it.
but yeah, that night they did this clearing of the house, and told the spirits, any spirits that want to go, this is your chance, to get out. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I'm laying in bed, and my side of the room is bright as day, and his side is dark. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no sun.
It was raining.
And it was raining because of the eclipse. Made the weather
Mhm.
really funky. And we actually had flooding that day. All around us there was flooding.
Mhm.
And the spirit, I look over, I notice all these spirits that I've seen hundreds of times. And the main one was, the main one at the Sally house. Her name was Agnes Finney. And she's there, and everybody quiets down, and she says, "Thank you, goodbye." And there was this bright light, and up they went.
That's
And
awesome.
and I said, there's like 50 spirits in our bedroom. And of
Wow.
course he doesn't hear anything, but it was heartwarming, because I told him, I said, I always felt like there was a reason
Right.
that I was called to that house.
Yeah.
And I felt after that, I didn't feel the need to go there, to be there every week to help whoever was there, or
Mhm.
whatever. I felt like it was all done, that it was my job to get the right people in there to help the spirits that wanted to leave.
Yeah, we went back
3 times.
3 times. The first one was 2 weeks after that, and absolutely nothing.
We had one about 3 weeks ago. A friend of mine's a visiting nurse, and in fact, she's just joined our team. And one of her clients died, so we went over there with a meter, and his girlfriend wanted to see if he was still in the house. Well, he came right over and sat down between us, and carried on conversation. She asked him, "You feel okay now?" "Yes." "Have you seen your brother and your dad?" "Yes." And that was really nice. "Do you hurt anymore?" "No." And so after a few days, I left a meter with her. And after a few days, he just disappeared.
Can't ask for better than that.
No.
You can't.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Barb.
So, well, let us know what your team decides to do. And
Well,
I can't wait to hear what you guys have coming up, and maybe what
y'all
we can
wanna-
help with
y'all want to come and join us Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, we're
No, we're not doing anything. Saturday.
dog sitting.
That's it. That we can leave on Saturday for that. Yeah,
We're
we have
gonna-
nothing on our calendar. Just send me the information.
I will. We're
What
going to
time?
meet at 3 o'clock at a brew pub.
Brew pub.
You know
Okay.
where? You know where McGuire's is at?
Yeah.
There's a road behind McGuire's called Heinrich,
Okay.
and there's a brew pub over there called Doc's Hops, and that's where we're going to be.
That's familiar.
Is it going towards the Grand Hotel or away from the Grand Hotel?
It's pretty well close to 9th Avenue.
Okay. So, yeah, we know where that is.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, we were going to hold it at Lucy's, but Lucy's is kind of small for a big crowd.
How many? I was in the restroom when you talked about how many people were on your team.
We have about 8, but
Okay.
I'm losing one, but some of them really don't even live here. So, and
Okay.
I got one of my top people. She's coaching ice flyer junior soccer. Junior hockey. So she's tied up all the time. So
Oh, that's a big deal here. I
Yeah.
hear.
so we're just adding a few people.
Yeah, I heard that you can go skate on the ice after the ice flyer games.
Yeah,
Can you?
Mhm.
I can't.
No, you
Yeah.
can't.
we
I'm
have
not
a new,
allowed to.
we have a new team member. She is super editing and making, YouTube channel stuff and podcast and all. So she can edit a lot of our stuff that we bring her the video and let her edit it, put it into some sort of film, because we record it all and don't know what to do with it.
I know how that goes.
Mm.
I got tons of recordings. I got 9 years of recordings that I've got to figure out what to do with them.
Mhm.
Well, she
That's why they're going
seems like,
straight to YouTube now. Just straight to
Yeah.
YouTube. I don't have to deal with it.
she's going to be a big help.
That's good.
So we'll see y'all on Saturday.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely see you on Saturday. And I'm going. You know what? Have you had dinner yet?
No, I'm
Getting
fixing
ready
to go.
go eat.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find you, Rob?
They can find me on Facebook at Panhandle Paranormal of Pensacola.
And I suggest you guys go out there and find that out. And if you search for Rob Booth, on Facebook, you'll probably find a couple shows that he's been on with us, as well as a lot of information related to his experiences out there. So make sure you do that.
Amanda says she hasn't left yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She said
see you on
she'll see
Saturday,
you all
man.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want her to leave. I'm gonna tie like a chain around her leg.
Well, she may not come now on Saturday.
Chain her to a tree or something so she don't go.
So our next alert on our phones are going to be for a kidnapped woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Kidnapped
chained
Amanda.
and kept in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Well, we got that weird history here. Somebody mentioned something about this hotel or this restaurant downtown, and I didn't know that much about Ted Bundy
Yes.
until we moved here.
I didn't know there was
And I had no clue. And it was something to do with what Oscars is now, not what Oscars was then.
Yeah.
And
Oscars
somebody
is
mentioned it, and
long
I said,
gone.
isn't that where they caught Ted Bundy? And they're going,
Yeah. Now it's Road to Jerusalem.
oh, okay. It was called something else.
It was
It was a
Oscars back
breakfast
then,
and lunch
yeah.
place. I guess when the person mentioned it, said this was one of their favorite places to eat. And
Oh,
when
God.
I mentioned that, they go,
Oscars is wonderful.
yeah. She just said, she goes, I never put two and two together that they were the same place. I'm like,
In fact, my next door neighbor when I was a kid, he was the one that caught Ted Bundy.
oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was cruising the parking lot. He worked for the police department, city police department, cruising the parking lot. There was a Volkswagen sitting in the back parking lot with somebody in it in the middle of the night. And he just put his spotlight on it, pulled up there, and the guy rolled the window down, looked at him and says, I think y'all were looking for me.
in public, that guy was very, very much a gentleman.
Yeah.
Asshole. He was an asshole, but
Yeah,
but he did treat everybody kindly when he first. I mean, that's how you get people to trust you and get them on your side. So Amanda, you live by there. Wow. It's just an interesting part of Pensacola history. You know, I mean, my daughter, she's at West Florida. She works for their police department, and I know that sounds weird to say, hey, my daughter works for the West Florida University Police Department, but here a lot of it kind of does. You don't think about colleges having their own police force. You think about them having security guards and all this other stuff, but you don't think about them having a big dispatch and all that.
Yeah, they're certified police officers.
Yeah. And she's telling us about the hauntings in the buildings out there.
Well, why hasn't she got us in there?
Because she hasn't been there that long, I think. And it freaks out a bunch of the cops.
A couple of them that buildings they won't even go in.
Yeah.
I know their music auditorium is supposed to be haunted.
Well, the building where dispatch is, so mainly their offices, locked doors are sounding like they're slamming, and there's nobody has a key to the door. The building that used to be the daycare center there, it's locked up all the time, and they have calls coming from there all the time saying that stuff is happening.
Well, it sounds like she needs to get us in there.
Yeah,
I
know.
I'm going to work on it.
So get her to go with us too.
But
Yes.
she doesn't want me to get all hyped up yet.
Yes.
Until after April, I guess.
Yeah, and then you can get hyped up.
Yeah, then I can get hyped up because everything will be under control.
Yes.
I hope.
It will.
So, but
well, we can always get you liquored up. That way you won't
not
get
allowed
hyped
to
up.
do that. Not allowed to get liquored up. I'd like to. They keep asking me, "Do you have a drinking problem?" I said, "No, I would like to have one." It kind of freaks out the doctor. Do you want to be an alcoholic? No, I just like to be able to have a drink every now and then. But no, it doesn't happen. So, but
all right. Well, I hate to leave y'all, but I have to go cook.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate
thanks,
it. And I
Rob.
will see you on Saturday.
See you in a few days.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
So, another great show with Rob Booth. I hope you guys enjoyed.
That was
The
perfect
show?
timing.
It is perfect timing.
It is. Oh,
There you
let's see here.
I helped him
What
out.
else?
So Amanda, it'd be nice to meet you on Saturday as well. But the Paranormal Pride will not be on Monday night because of I got to babysit. So we're going to be babysitting for our daughter's wedding anniversary. What do we got now?
Oh, I was going to bring up the Paranormal Horror Show for 2024, Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Show you who some of the guests are going to be there. They've added more people and more people coming.
They've already got that
we'll
thing
bring it
planned out.
It's at Scared City down there in Paragould, Arkansas. And let me bring up the guests. Okay. Tony Moran will be there and stuff.
Wow, we got this thing planned out already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is February.
There you go. Brett Wagner. Yes. Is going to be there. Of course, Santiago will be there. Rick Prince from the show Face Off.
Yeah,
that makes all these masks and everything.
Yep.
Right. He was there last year, met him. Oscar Rodriguez III from The Walking Dead and different shows and everything.
Marv asked if you're going again.
Yes.
I would assume you are.
Yeah, I'll show you the vendors in a second. Kendra Sauter. She's with Santiago and writes the books. She helps write all these books and everything. She's a great author down there. She's going to be there. Keith Age is going to be there.
I have yet to meet him. I have heard him speak. I don't know how many times, and he's got connections for Ale 8.
Okay.
In Winchester, Kentucky. It's a soda.
Okay.
He's got one.
Well, he's going to be down there. Scott Bainey will be there. He owns Scared City Productions and all that, and the haunted house out there in Jonesboro. And he's in the movie Cruel Summer 3 with a bunch of them. Tony Buck's going to be there. He's in the movies too. He's an actor. The Blue Bodie's going to be back again. Nancy Ann Ritter is going to be there. She's an actor. She's been in the movie Scream and The Undead and stuff down there. But that's a list of them. The vendors this year. True Alpha down there will be there. They do custom logos and flyers. Frozen Foodie. This lady makes all these frozen candies, and they are awesome.
Those freeze-dried candy?
Yes, they are.
I will tell you,
And
I love the watermelon
Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Ranchers and the sour apple ones.
right. I got hooked on the cinnamon red hots that they did down there and stuff. Oh, they
They
were
are good.
awesome. Yes. And everything. Professional photo ops is going to be there. These guys do some fantastic photos in their setup down there. These were all the con players from last year that you see on there
Uh-huh.
that were down there during the contest. Okay. Spellbound. And Spellbound makes all the t-shirts. She makes Santiago's t-shirts and everything for them. Monty Anderson. These are all hand-drawn pictures you see up there that he does. This man is a fantastic artist. Of course, I'll be down there with my engravings and everything, and I'll be doing live engravings while I'm down there this year.
Mhm.
Rewind Minds will be there. Ghost hunting housewives that we had on the show,
Yep.
right? I'll finally get to meet them live in person down there.
They're very nice. I enjoy visiting with them. In fact, we sometimes talk offline where people can't hear us.
Right. And then you'll have Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. They do a podcast and everything there. So Sarcastic Dragon Designs will be there with the cups, the tumblers, all that. Long Live the King, another one that does tumblers. Who's this? Oh, Bansley's, the Nerd Box. He has all kinds of items that he sells. Nerdy items is what they call it. But that's just part of what's going to be down there this year. And that is on July 12th, 13th, and 14th, the Paracon.
Mhm.
July 9th, 10th, and 11th, 3 days of paranormal investigations at the Scared City Haunted House in Jonesboro and stuff this year.
I didn't
Plus,
see that many paranormal investigators, though.
no, there's
At the
not
haunted
really
housewives.
in everything.
Well,
Another
Santiago
nice
does
thing that's going to
investigate.
be
Hmm.
at this Paracon is
TH.
Friday night before the Paracon starts. Inhumane Wrestling, Pro Wrestling will be there with people from the Inhumane Wrestling, NWA, WWE will be there for a wrestling match. And
Well, I mean, they
Santiago
are
is
in the heart of wrestling country there in Paragould.
right. And Santiago is supposed to get in the ring with one of them.
So
So
if it's inhumane wrestling, does that mean that they're going to be fighting animals?
I don't know, but you can
Will
find Inhumane Wrestling on YouTube and
that
see
be
what they
little
do.
wrestling?
Hell, could be. Could be. You
As you
never
can
know.
see, I did not say it the way I normally would have said it.
I know. Well, I know how Santiago would say it and everything.
I
The
know, but
midget
I let
wrestlers
him do
out
it.
there. But no, this year down there, like last year, they had over 100 vendors there. People called the last week and the last minute and even show up the day of the show. Leatherface showed up last year at the day of the show. We almost didn't have a spot to put him in this building, right? When you had 100 vendors. But they have contacted the fairgrounds, and if we need the other building across the entryway there is the same size building over there, we have access to it this year.
Damn, that does sound like it's gonna be a lot
When
bigger.
we went to the one here in Pensacola, it's at the fairgrounds, and she had that whole building
It was
packed
full.
side to side.
Oh yeah, this
You
whole
know.
building that we were
Yeah.
in was packed wall to wall with just the places for people to walk in
There's a
between
lot of
the
people there.
aisles. And
It
then a
does help that
stage
it's
up
not that
there,
far from Memphis.
a stage up there where everybody got up and talked because this show is against anti-bullying and suicide awareness is what the main show is all about.
Mhm.
So it brings a lot of people in. We're all helping Santiago with it and everything. You can watch his podcasts usually during the day. Right now, he's down in Hickory, North Carolina, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
So funny about that.
It came up
Finishing,
in a meeting. It came up in a meeting today.
Oh,
finishing the filming A Cruel Summer 3. So he's got that going on. And he just did an audition for another TV show. And his commercial with his old legal team. He's a paralegal. One of the biggest paralegal people there was in Nashville, Tennessee at the time. They called him up and they want him to do their commercials. So Santiago's getting out there a lot more. He's busy the first part of 2024 all the way up until August. Pretty booked up. Yeah, Barb, it's going to be bigger and bigger this year and stuff. A lot of things going on down there. But
Oh,
come
that's-
down, they're nice. And one thing about, we've been at Paracons, and you know how easy it is to get up to one of the guests and actually talk one-on-one, or they come over to your booth. It's kind of rough at some of the Paracons. This one here, you can walk right up and sit at their table and talk with them. They'll come to your table and sit down and talk to help bring people to your table. They do all that.
Well, you already know me well enough to know that if I want to go and sit down and talk to somebody, I'm going to. I
know. I'm about
I-
the same way. And then if they don't let me sit down and talk, they don't want to hear from me because I'll tell them like it is.
yeah.
At the first Paracon where we met Santiago, there was hardly anybody there. Okay. And
We didn't know who he was.
we didn't know who he was. But I was sitting there talking to Jeff Mudgett. And somebody got a picture of me sitting at his table. I mean, I was squatting in front of his table talking to him, because you get tired of looking down at somebody and then looking up at you. It starts to hurt their neck. So, I kind of squatted down and was talking to him. And Santiago said something behind me, but it's like, I didn't watch the show. I didn't know who in the heck he was.
Right.
But he ended up taking our pictures with Tom and Nick Moulet and some other asshole. And, but he did a really good job taking the picture. And after that, we started talking. So, and when you were with another network, I kept trying to get him on your show or on that show because he was a veteran or is a veteran.
Right.
And I thought he would be a great one to get on there. It never worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so I was trying to get you guys together years ago.
I know, but it's hard to go on a night show and everything because when he's home, he works at UPS at nighttime. That's why he does his podcast early in the day and stuff. So it's quite a bit. And I know that Haunted Souls was down there this year too. That was down in Joplin that we met.
Okay.
The guys with the kilts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be there this year and stuff.
They seem like nice guys.
They are. And I mean,
I have to get them on, but with them having their own show, sometimes it's hard to get them on.
Right. But yeah, I mean, this is the second year of it. And the first year did real good. This second year is going to blow it out of the water, since the mayor and everybody and this hotel owner.
Mm-hmm.
Santiago tells you a fantastic story about that. When they were trying to get the hotel to help with the Paracon and everything. And Santiago told him, he says, I'll fill your hotel up. And the guy laughed at him. Right? Because he had just bought this hotel down there. This guy did and was remodeling it. And he goes, I'll fill it up. If you give him a discount and everything. He goes, yeah, I'll give him a 20% discount. We packed every room in that hotel last year for that Paracon.
Mhm.
When it was over, the guy came up to him and gave Santiago a big hug. And he goes, I thought you was full of shit on packing this place. And Santi goes, no. And we're going to do it next year. And he goes, I'm on board.
Of course
And
he is.
we have some of the big rooms, the meet conference rooms that are remodeled this year for special people in the hotel to have meetings and everything with the Paracon. So it's going to be quite the deal.
Is Tammy going to go with you again?
Yes.
And Gary? Or so
No.
far just you guys?
I
Okay.
think it's just me and Tammy. Cassidy might go down there with us. She went last year.
Yeah.
And
No, she
everything.
didn't. Didn't you? Wasn't it
No,
last
she
year?
went.
Oh, that's right. She had just gotten back.
Yep.
Right. She went with
So-
us last year. She had a great time.
Yeah,
And
she's
Yeah.
getting
she
all the
wants to go
pictures.
We
this
gotta
year,
make
but it depends on what her
schoolwork
summer
is like.
job is going to be like
Mhm.
and everything. But
But we got to
no,
figure out that
me and
part too.
Tammy's going down there. So everything. Yeah. Gary
What,
didn't think he
20
was going to be able to go this year.
Jonesboro?
8 or 9.
8 or 9? 8 or 9 hours to Jonesboro.
Well,
From here.
it's 8
Just
hours.
past.
Well, it's halfway from here to you then, because Jonesboro is 8 hours from us.
Yeah, Memphis is about halfway, so it's just a little past halfway back to Kansas City.
Yeah, we usually stay in like Truman
Yeah,
Right.
because it's better. Not a
Yeah,
better
easy to
hotel.
get in and
It's
out.
an easier in and
I
out.
was
and drive
shocked on
fast
how big a
shopping.
town Paragould is. It's a pretty large town.
It's
Is it?
about 30,000, I think, right in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Right. That's a good sized
That's-
town, from around our
Oh, yeah.
area and
Yeah.
stuff, which if you look at it, Paragould and Jonesboro, they ought to be connected because
I
you
know.
go up that highway in between Paragould to Jonesboro.
Yep.
You're never out in the country.
Is it a four
There
lane all
was-
the way out there now?
When I was stationed at
It's
Blytheville,
two.
there was a little gap before, but not anymore.
Yeah, like I said,
No,
it's a
not
two-lane.
But
anymore.
it didn't
It's just
seem to
like you
take
go from
very long.
Paragould, you're in Jonesboro, and it's 45
It
minutes.
didn't seem to take long at all to get
Right.
to Paragould.
No. And just on the outside of Jonesboro, on the highway there, is where the Scared City Haunted House is out there.
Off of 555.
No, I can't think of what highway that was on.
Was it the interstate or just a state
No,
highway?
it was on a two-lane major road.
Yeah, because a 2-lane major road. Okay. Yeah, because that road is all 4-lane. That
It would have
Where we
been
go through.
going kind of northeast out of Jonesboro. Maybe it tells me the address. Let me look here real quick. Okay.
Get
Get back
another
up
splinter in
there.
your
Yeah,
hand?
it's the same ones. Bugging.
Well, it's not a big deal. We'll figure it out.
We'll
But-
figure it out. But,
So- but
yeah,
I'm getting hungry, so
Hungry.
I haven't
Okay.
eaten for a while.
Well, I ate just right before we had the show tonight and had fresh crappie that I caught yesterday and stuff. I deep fried it for me and Tammy. So it turned out she had never ate crappie before. She fell in love with it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So
So
did
that
you have enough
worked
to
out good.
freeze?
No, I've already ate it all.
Oh,
Yeah.
no fish jerky for Carl.
No. But I'll catch more before the summer and spring is over and everything. That was just our first time out at the pond and everything. What was cute was the day before, Scott's 6-year-old granddaughter, Whitley, caught her very first fish by herself.
Oh, wow.
She caught a real nice sized crappie and reeled it in all the way up to the bank, got it on the bank and everything for Scott. And they took a picture and she was smiles from ear to ear. that fish might as well weighed 20 pounds. You know.
Well, for her, it probably did feel like
I need
it
to
did.
get
Oh,
my
it did
fishing
for Whitley.
license
She's
down
the
here.
little micro midget
Yours
and
is
everything.
really-
She's a little bitty tiny thing. I bet she don't weigh 35 pounds.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody in the chat room and over on Rumble, everybody on the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment Facebook page, Things Network Facebook page, Japan Paranormal's Facebook page for joining us tonight. So we will see you next week here on Paranormal Nation Radio. Everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you then.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.